Hello everyone and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet for Monday, August 28th, 2017. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everyone, that you can help support the show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, this show does go live Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That's 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Nathan, how are you doing today?
I mean, all right. Been thinking about a lot of D&D stuff because it was presented to me this weekend, and I'm not sure if I really want to stop thinking about D&D stuff, but like once it's there, it's very persistent and it won't go away.
Sure. I mean, you like D&D, so there's a thing in that.
I don't know if I'd go out and say I'd like D&D. It's pretty much my lifestyle now.
Oh, okay. So you love D&D.
I don't really know. I mean, if you know anything about my life, you'd never say that I love my life.
But you're still participating in it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm participating in both.
Unfortunately.
The best part about D&D is when I get bored with one life, I can just stop.
That's true.
It's pretty great.
Maybe there's someone playing you, Nathan, that hasn't gotten bored of you yet.
Man, that's weird. Everyone's gotten bored of me.
That's not true. Fuck you. I still like you, ass.
Yeah, I mean, people can like me. That doesn't mean they haven't gotten bored of me.
I haven't gotten bored of you.
Yet.
Yet? It's going to be a long yet. You're going to be saying that for a long time.
You just wait.
340 episodes, sir.
That's a sizable chunk.
Yeah, it's a pretty good bit, you know.
Yeah.
There's some substance there.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Yeah, see? You're fine. Don't worry about it.
For now.
Don't worry about it. What are you trying to say? Gonna quit, bitch?
No.
Oh, okay,
Probably
good.
gonna die.
Oh, well. Australian victims of faulty pelvic mesh implants have expressed disgust at doctors' suggestions of anal intercourse as a solution to their ruined sex lives.
This was submitted by 8 Rounds Rapid to Our World News.
So it doesn't say what it is for, but there is this pelvic mesh that is being installed, implanted. I don't know how the hell you wanted to factor this in. Into that were being implanted into women to treat common childbirth complications, but it doesn't provide any additional details on that. But either way, the device that was manufactured by Johnson & Johnson, one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies, it has been causing chronic and debilitating pain, including during intercourse. And so there's this huge class action lawsuit going on for this matter right now. But in addition to this lawsuit that's happening, a string of emails, because it's always the emails, has come out. And what these emails say is that the doctors and physicians and experts that have been talking amongst one another, especially coming from the side of Johnson & Johnson in these communications, has said, well, there's alternatives if intercourse is the issue. I mean, there's always oral or anal. There's plenty of alternatives. Mm-hmm.
Not what you say to those individuals who are stuck in this scenario.
Yeah, I mean, you can always go with fellatio or sodomy, and I mean, there's also the clitoris with or without the G-spot. So, I mean, you have ways to get there.
That's not the question that they were asking.
That is not the point. Exactly.
God damn. That's fucked up right there.
That is people who are completely oblivious to a
They
problem.
literally said, well, we don't know about your vagina, but you can shove it up your ass.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
So that class action lawsuit is still continuing in the federal court of Australia. We'll see how that goes.
So I mean, Australia is pretty progressive when it comes to protecting their people.
Yeah, I suppose, but it'll probably also depend on like what agreements were made in the signing of, yes, you can put this mesh in my body.
Sure.
But who knows? I don't know. Either way, that's just messed up.
No, definitely.
Like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't tell people that after you fuck with their doodly parts, do not go out and tell them, oh yeah, you could probably just shove it up your ass. That's
I think
a bad idea.
I think doodly barts is better than doodly parts.
Well, I mean, either way, they can eat my shorts.
Exactly, 100%.
9.
You have 3 days left to comment on the FCC's plan to kill net neutrality.
Remember to go FCC yourself, guys. But this was submitted by Bit by Bitcoin to keep our net free.
I'm not sure if go FCC yourself works anymore. Anyway, I will definitely be sure to go find out. Either way, sorry. I had a little bit of something in my throat. Either way, so basically what we're getting at here, though, is that we've talked about it several times in the past, but we are going to address it once again. And what that is the idea, the concern over net neutrality, because right now there is such a big issue going on with net neutrality and what has the potential of happening. The FCC's chairman Ajit Pai wants to reverse protections that were put in place to protect the consumer. These are things like making sure that they can't sell your information, they can't throttle your speed. Though some of the biggest important ones, though, is the idea of that if they have to keep an open network, which means they can't deny working with other internet providers, and also they cannot pick and choose access to the internet. So for instance, like if our internet is through GCI, if GCI didn't like us under the rules that Ajit Pai is proposing, they would be able to just turn us off. They literally could just deny everyone access to us, and without any repercussions whatsoever, because they have control over it. And that's what those protections are currently in place for, and that's what the FCC is trying to get rid of. So make sure that you get yourself heard. I just checked, gofccyourself.com does still function, and what you want to do when you get to that page is click on the Express button, because it does close in the next 3 days, and go from there and just add the thoughts that you feel are pertinent.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everyone should be responding no matter what, because everyone uses the internet.
Yep.
So everyone should be active in this scenario.
We'll see what happens. I mean, we already know that there have been millions upon millions of comments flooding the FCC in regards to, hey, don't do this. This is bad. Ajit Pai said that they're basically going to ignore most of those, though, because quantity does not beat quality, in his opinion. So an actual legal reason that you can actually back up with some sort of substantiating documents, they will value over millions and millions of consumers saying, please don't do this. But that's just what he says, whereas when it actually goes in front of court and they have to defend their decision, if they want to actually go against all of those comments, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for them.
Mm-hmm. No, I really hope that FCC stays strong. Not the FCC, the net neutrality. I hope the FCC doesn't stay strong in this, because in this scenario, they are the greater assholes.
Well, and the other thing that amazes me is the FCC is 3 people, by the way, that make these decisions, and they need a 2-1 vote to succeed.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fucking dumb. Why is it so little?
I don't know, because, like, the previous chairman, him and one of the other members, they were of the mind that most other people are, in the progressive sense of let's protect the consumers and move things forward in terms of technology, whereas then he got replaced by someone who was on the other side of the fence, and now everything is going back because there's only 3 people.
This is the fucking worst. I hate how it's constant backward and forward shifting.
Forward and, yeah, progress and then being dragged back.
I'm sorry, you cut out. What was that?
Gaining progress and then being dragged back, kicking and screaming.
Yeah, it's like, guys, stop. We don't want to be dragged back.
Well, and like the FCC chairman, he talks about, like, you don't understand what you're actually talking about because there's not an actual risk that's ever been proven to be here. You're just speaking in hypotheticals, and we can't have regulations based on hypotheticals. And it's like, I think we can. I think we can, and I think we already do, and I think that's fine.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely.
Also, if you have millions and millions of people pouring in saying don't
fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess technically they're still allowed to vote whatever way they want, and the problem is that we don't vote for them. You don't have the same repercussion that, like, legislators do of, like, if you don't vote with your constituents, they won't put you back into office.
It's really unfortunate that the world works like this.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens, though. But be sure you have 3 days left. Go ahead and get those comments in, and then we'll keep you updated from there. We'll let you know.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everything goes well.
Hopefully.
Knock on wood.
8.
Japanese government warns of North Korea's missile that it flies over Japan.
This was submitted by Sneaky Panda 7 to our World News.
Yeah, so North Korea is fucking...
When I first read that headline, when it was, the other way before you changed it,
Yep.
I couldn't make heads or tails of that sentence.
That's fine, I fixed it. It's because I changed it from the original title, because the story had been updated since the original headline. Because Japan had originally sent out the warning that there was a missile from North Korea heading towards Japan, but the missile passed over Japan and landed in the ocean behind it. That said, this is still a very aggressive move by North Korea, because they fired a ballistic missile that went over populated areas.
Yeah, no, that's pretty scary.
So it is at this point in time that the world is beginning to close in and mobilize, not necessarily militaristically, but in terms of, okay, we actually have to do something at this point in time, because this is going... We need to try...
Because you guys are being dickheads, and we need to fucking stop if you guys are going to fucking,
You need to do something before something happens. So the Japanese Prime Minister called for a peace meeting that didn't include North Korea. And the South Korean government also called for a National Security Council meeting at 7 a.m. this morning. So they're working on figuring how they're going to address this to basically address Pyongyang and Kim Jong-un in regards to this move, and figure out how they can deduce a non-violent solution.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, no. Okay, so I guess I can't say nobody wants a violent solution, but more people are hoping for a non-violent solution than for a violent solution.
Here's my question in regards to all this. And I don't know enough details of where the missile came from or where it was headed to, but don't we have a big, giant friggin' missile defense system right there at the South Korean-North Korean border that's supposed to make sure that missiles don't leave?
Maybe they didn't fire it at the South Korean-North Korean border.
Like I said, I don't know what the range on that thing is, but I mean, shouldn't there have been something that intercepted this, or did our technology tell us enough information that wasn't going to hit somewhere important, or
you would think that it would be put into use in a scenario like this.
You would think so,
especially since all of the money that got put into it.
You would hope so. Like, I'm not sure what it's for otherwise. And like I said, maybe where they shot it from, it just wasn't in range of those missile defense systems. But by my understanding, we also have a good number of watercraft that are around South Korea right now that also have missile defense systems on them. So I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. I was like, maybe the trajectory was in such a way that they knew it was going to hit somewhere important, and maybe a missile going into the ocean is better than it exploding above water. But
I don't know about that, because if it's a nuclear missile, then you don't want it exploding anywhere.
Well, yeah, but this wasn't a nuclear missile, though.
Luckily.
But so I'm not sure what the play was there. I mean, on North Korea's side, I knew what it was. It's just like, ha ha ha, look at us, derp-a-der.
No, dude, it's what boxers do. They have two hands up. One of them will go out and will constantly jab, and then when they're sure of it, they throw the other jab.
Sure.
They're range finding.
Maybe. I don't know.
So, I don't like the scenario at all, especially since we're really fucking close.
Yeah. Feels bad, bro.
Always feeling bad.
7.
USS John S McCain collision. Remains of all 10 missing sailors have been recovered.
This was submitted by Dory Luque to our news.
All 10 sailors...
Oh, thank God.
All the sailors were actually retrieved by divers that had to search the flooded compartments of the USS John McCain. They were not knocked off the boats. They died in flooded engine compartments and stuff of the ship. All of the sailors were aged between 20 to 39. We found them, I guess.
That's fucking great. No, that's amazing.
Yeah. It still sucks, but at least we have them now.
Yeah, no. It's great that we found their remains. It's unfortunate that it has to be their remains.
Yep. So either way, there's not a lot of an update past that, besides that they have launched the investigation of trying to figure out why there's been so many naval accidents happening in the last year, including they were discussing actually shutting down operations in the area to try and figure out what the problem was.
Did they figure out what the problem was?
Not yet. I mean, a lot of people have speculation, but not yet.
Well, I hope that they find it out quickly.
So, hey, Nathan, there's some Alaska news in our top 10.
Oh, no.
Yep.
6.
I like how you said, oh no, because you know it's negative. Grizzly bears are going vegetarian due to climate change, choosing berries over salmon.
This was submitted by Maxwell Hill to R Not the Onion.
Yep, so this is primarily focused...
Our bears are going vegan?
Vegetarian.
Oh, God, they're going to start walking around and be like, hey, have you heard berries are really healthy for you?
It's not... Well, they normally eat the berries anyway, but here's the problem, is that the warmer temperatures that have been experienced recently is causing the berries to ripen earlier than normal. And when they ripen earlier than normal, the bears will eat them first. They will eat them before the salmon. But the problem there is that the salmon are only available for a short time. So the bears choose the berries. And the reason for this is that the berries have less protein, which means they require less energy to break down, so they put on more fat by eating berries compared to fish.
I still feel like this is really bad.
It is, and the main reason it's bad is because for the bear population, when it comes to getting ready for winter, they start with salmon, eat berries, and then they have a few other foods that they eat as winter gets really close to really pack on the fat and things like that so that they can go hibernate. In this case, it's a lot of, compared as like someone served you breakfast and lunch at the exact same time and there's not going to be any other food until dinner.
I would eat the shit out of all of it.
Yeah, but bears won't. And they don't have the time to eat the shit out of all of it because if they, like, the berries will either go bad if they choose salmon, or if they eat the berries, the salmon will be done and leave.
Man, it's really unfortunate. They get to either pick one or the other.
Yeah. And it goes beyond that, though, is that the ecosystem...
All right, so what we do is we get them to eat a mixture of both. We get them to eat salmon berries.
Perfect. The other issue, though, is that it is going to have a negative environment on the ecosystem, which is built around the bears in the way that they go about their life. Bears traditionally kill 75% of the salmon that swim up the streams. I did not know it was that large of a number, but bears eat 75% of the salmon.
Huge.
So there's two issues there, is that the salmon population will get out of control, and second off, normally the bears, when they eat and kill the salmon, leave the carcasses around the river, and which
will help flourish the surrounding wildlife and everything.
Yep, provides nutrients to the ground and things like that, and none of that's happening right now.
So we need to stop doing all of this crazy climate warming shit so that our bears can be regular bears.
Yep.
Okay, I like this. Oh, God, I hate climate change. It's unbearable.
Yeah.
It's a pun.
You're suck.
I am suck.
You are suck.
I am the living embodiment of suck. The
5.
avatar of suck.
Trump's business sought deal on a Trump Tower in Moscow while he ran for president.
This was submitted by the Republitard to our politics.
So this is one of those stories, and as a precursor, I've already said multiple times, I don't like Trump, but this story is stupid because people just want things to throw at Trump because it looks good on paper.
I got that from the fucking headline.
Yeah, Trump's business, as part of a business move completely separate from his campaign and everything, wanted to put a tower in Moscow because they'd make money by putting a tower in Moscow. End of story. So they found out about this deal. All the stuff has been revealed for it. This wasn't like a thing of like, oh, we'll put a tower in Moscow if you hack our opponents. No, it was no shit like that. Did not work that way. It was a pure business deal of, can we put a tower in Moscow? Is that cool? We make money. You make money off of the taxes and shit that go through our hotel. We all win. Cool. Okay, thanks. Bye. Like, I understand that people heard the name Trump and Russia and were like, post it. And
let's cling to it.
And then people saw the name Trump in Russia and were like, upvote it. You guys are stupid. Stop it. Like, there is so much shit to get him for. You don't need to be grasping outside the box for other random stuff.
There's plenty. He shits plenty.
Yeah, just look at Twitter at 4 o'clock in the morning. You got gold.
I mean, I guess you do get bored every now and then of that. I don't know.
I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't. The crazy shit he says, I'm almost convinced he's high each time.
Well, I mean, the media literally wants anything that will bring them more attention so that they can make more money off of more ads and clicks and things like that. And then there's so much opposition to Trump that anything in any way could possibly have the smallest negative impact, whether it's true or relevant, just jump on it. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets out of hand. And this is one of those times where it's clearly out of hand.
Like, I actually filter out a good number of stories like this because they're just non-stories. They're a waste of time, and it's literally people just throwing stuff at him for no other reason than it kind of looks bad.
Yeah, no, it doesn't just kind of look bad. It looks pretty fucking bad.
But at the same time, it's so nothing.
Yeah.
Quit it. Focus on the real things.
4.
Yeah, no, definitely that.
Like the fact that no one's going to be able to keep him in check because 7 cybersecurity members resigned from Trump's advisory panel, citing, quote, insufficient attention to the growing threats.
This is submitted by Patrick Plan 8 to R Technology. It's really unfortunate that Trump is one of the leading causes of cyberbullying.
Mm-hmm. Like, he's a cyberbully himself.
Yeah, no, easily.
So with all that, though, of the 27-member council, 7 members have resigned, so just around a little bit shy of a quarter of the members have said, peace, we're out. A little bit over a quarter of the members. I can do math. It basically said that Trump doesn't listen to the Cybersecurity Council, that he's not concerned about anything that they put forward, and so it's not worth their time.
Yeah, I can agree with them in this scenario. This is fucking ridiculous, the kind of shit that gets, that is just tolerated.
It was a single resignation letter. All 7 of them had signed it. A small segment, and the one that this particular article from Fortune.com found most important was, the moral infrastructure of our nation is the foundation on which our physical infrastructure is built. The administration's actions undermine that foundation.
No, it does. 100% undermines that foundation. Anything he says on Twitter undermines that foundation. I have yet to see a positive Twitter experience coming from that man.
Tim in the chat room says, I'm thinking a cyber threat is a possible cause as a result of the USN ship collisions. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, if someone is messing with those systems, but at the same time, I'd hope they're more secure than that. In addition to that, we know there are concerns because this board issued a report the day after all these resignations came out, saying that dramatic steps were required to prevent a possible 9/11 level cyber attack. So there are apparently massive, huge vulnerabilities that exist that are not being addressed.
So fucking stupid. And no one's going to be addressing them because no one wants to step up to that fuckhead, aside from literally every fucking Democrat, and no one wants to fucking hear about it because they're stupid liberals.
It's not even that. I mean, even if it is something coming, like, if people don't polish his shoes and shine his gold for him and say something that he doesn't agree with, he just says no. Like, he just goes, la 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 la, and it's like, what is this happening right now?
You know what's really unfortunate?
What?
It's come to the point where unless he does something incredibly crazy and loses his money at the same time, no matter what, he's going to be well off.
Yeah. At this point, I don't care about him being well off. I just want him away from my government.
I can understand that, but it's not deserving.
Like,
I guess I'm salty because I don't have riches beyond my, wildest beliefs for bankrupting an assload of companies.
That's fair. I understand.
I mean, shit, I can bankrupt a company like a motherfucker. Give me the fucking wheel.
Get to it.
3.
Mexico to Trump. We will not negotiate NAFTA through social media.
Good. This is submitted by Susie Sue V2 to Our World News. Spelled as in the Sioux.
you say good, I say sad. Um, because, good Lord. So, on Sunday, President Trump declared that Mexico would pay for his promised border wall. Again, put this out on Twitter in his normal fashion. Mexico responded saying that Mexico will not negotiate NAFTA or any other aspect of a bilateral relationship through social media or any other news platform.
Good. It's really unfortunate that it's come to the point where they have to, outwardly express this, but there's no fucking way you're going to argue about or debate about your policies with one another over the internet like that.
Well, and it gets even worse. I mean, because the tweet that Trump sent out was, with Mexico being one of the highest crime nations in the world, we must have the wall. And they responded by talking about the problem that exists of, like, you're concerned about the level of drugs that come out of Mexico, but there wouldn't be so many drugs coming out of Mexico if America didn't want them.
Yeah, no, that's a huge fucking problem, is our opioids and our cannabis problems. Even though cannabis isn't really a problem, we can grow that fairly well here. It's just they grow an ass load of it down there, and they can sell it fairly easily, illegally through there.
Yeah. So.
But it's all the same, like, we are currently living in a generation, not a generation, we're currently living in a time period where a lot of people just are, quite frankly, bored enough to fucking just shoot up.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but boredom's a huge cause for drug addiction.
That's like in the city I grew up in. It was one of the leaders in the nation for teen drug abuse, teen obesity, and teen pregnancy. And it's literally like it always came down to because they have nothing to do. There were no activities, nowhere to go, nowhere to hang out. I literally remember walking around Walmart at 1 a.m. because there was nowhere else to go.
I did that all the time. We called it bro runs. On top of that, we would actually go back to one of our friends' place to smoke weed. So I feel like there should be rec areas for children or just teenagers and people in general. Like the Spinard Rec Center is what we have over on Spinard, but like just a recreational centers put around more and not, foreclosed. Let's put a goddamn what is the fucking thing called when we pay when we pay out of pocket specifically for it? Not out of pocket. I forget the fucking term for it. Subsidize. We should subsidize an assload of recreational centers specifically for children and teenagers, so that we can stop or try to stem at least the flow of alcohol abuse, teen pregnancy, drug abuse, sexual predators, in addition to not just... Okay, that's another thing. A leading cause of teen pregnancy is males aged 20 to 27.
Yeah.
That's another thing that needs to be addressed. It's not always the teenager's fault that they got pregnant just because they couldn't close their legs.
Well, sexual education would also help with that. And the other problem is like that city that I grew up in, it had a rec center that closed at 8 p.m.
Okay, so so Timothy's like, all right, let's subsidize another thing. Okay, so think about it like this. You're not subsidizing it. Instead, you're relocating funds that you instead would be putting into drug and
welfare.
All of these welfare problems that are currently happening, all of these things that we are currently funding money into that are actual problems that need to be solved, not just through monetary, just throwing money at it. It's not going to help.
This is money that is already going out the window.
Theoretically, if we give people places to go and things to do, then they won't be doing those other things. Theoretically.
There's also just the advocacy for just better education in general.
Yeah, no.
I mean, also another thing to touch on is the current situation of schools. I mean, school food has been proven year after year to be just bad for you. It has next to no nutritional value. And then on top of that, I mean, like, I remember when I was in school, which wasn't that long ago, but like, only when I was exiting school did you have an option to not take band, to not take physical education. Like, it used to be that you had to do those things, and like now my kid is in school and she does physical education once a week.
Yeah, so I feel like schools need, the education system in general needs a giant reform. And I've been advocating for this for a long time, but there's just no fucking possible way that you're going to be the leading country in a fucking world where your children are borderline retarded.
To respond to something in the chat room, Tim says, "Oh, but you're taking my welfare away." People that already have it, I don't like. If there's a teen with a baby and she's on welfare because of it, it wouldn't take away her welfare. The idea is that the money that would have went to the next person that got pregnant doesn't get pregnant because of the money that you put into these programs.
With Tim, he said, "Want to know why schools are so iffy? Because we're using subsidizing money elsewhere." So then it becomes a shell game of moving funds around, because for one, education definitely needs to be not only reformed, but funded just by large amounts. I'm completely tired, and I can assume that a lot of people are completely tired of interacting with absolutely stupid people, which can be easily fixed by reforming the education system.
Well, I mean, if you keep people stupid, you keep people happy with stupid shit.
It's the worst. The literal fucking worst.
I won't disagree with that.
2,
Mexico to Trump. No funding for the wall, but will help Texas. Trump's tweets aren't swaying the country, but Mexican officials said they're prepared to help those impacted by Hurricane Harvey.
This was submitted by Maxwell Hill to Our World News.
So if you hadn't heard, a massive Hurricane Harvey, swept through the Gulf of Mexico and just nailed Texas, and to the point that there was a large amount of evacuation. Some areas have as much as 17 feet of water. Which
God damn.
Yeah, my brain can't quite process like how there can be 17 feet of water in like that's not in a bowl. But either way, so Houston and a lot of the surrounding area is just underwater. It's just there's lots of bad there. And at this point, there's tons of relief efforts going forward, trying to help people evacuate, get people out, get people established. You know, just there's a lot of damage and a lot of stuff that still needs fixed. And the storm isn't over yet either. Like the worst of it is over, but it's still raining in a good bit of the area. And Mexico, who used to own Texas, they had sent troops for Hurricane Katrina and are ready to do so again for Hurricane Harvey.
So I'm very happy that my friend who is in Houston checked in with Facebook today saying that he was safe. I just want to acknowledge that. I feel like if everyone who's listening, if you can take a moment to reach out to your friends or family in Texas. We all know Texas sucks balls, but we should see if they're sucking less balls at the moment.
Yeah.
So
thank you, Mexico, for being willing to help. I actually didn't know that they sent troops for Hurricane Katrina, but it's also awesome to see other countries coming to help us when something shitty happens.
I heard that this one's going to be stronger than Hurricane Katrina, but at the same time, we're more prepared because of Hurricane Katrina.
Maybe. I don't know. It's also in a different area, though. So, maybe, the places that Hurricane Katrina hit were more prepared for something to happen of that same, for an event like that to repeat. But this is a new spot. Maybe we have a better response effort put together.
Well, not just that, but not just the response effort, but the areas that were housing people who are too poor to evacuate. Before in Hurricane Katrina, they were running out of food, they were running out of clean water, their toilets were breaking. There was a suicide in the fucking the stadium that they were staying at because they just couldn't live in those scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but as well as assaults. And I feel like now that we've seen this kind of devastation, and we know that this kind of devastation is about to happen again, I feel like this gave us the opportunity to sit there and really prepare for it. So I'm hoping from what I have read, we have prepared more for it, but I'm hoping that that we really have, because I never want to see something like the likes of Hurricane Katrina ever again. And it's unfortunate that we're going through that again. But hopefully this will be much less when it comes to damage and death.
Yeah, nature be scary.
Yeah, nature is a retributional motherfucker.
1.
Amazon cuts prices at Whole Foods by up to 43% on the first day.
This was submitted 9 hours ago, but I'm not saying that.
What is it?
Also, not 9 hours ago, but
I'm curious because like I wonder how old this account is. So if anyone, I'll say it's MAGA 2012. They've been a Redditor for 3 days.
already number one. Fuck my life.
Yep, you're the worst at this, Nathan. Good job.
Oh God. I bet it's a throwaway.
Maybe, I don't know. Either way, so if you weren't aware, Amazon recently purchased Whole Foods, like the grocery chain. It was a $13.7 billion purchase, and so they bought it. The sales went through, and they just immediately started slashing prices. Whole Foods had been known for the longest time of having good food, real fresh, nice stuff at an extreme premium. And Amazon bought them and said, we're going to sell the same stuff, just not at that premium. So
Good.
everything is, all the prices are being slashed from somewhere between 10 to 50% from what we can tell at this point. For instance, like bananas are going from 99 cents a pound to 69 cents a pound.
Oh, yeah. I ate an assload of bananas. My fucking jam, potassium, dude.
Fuji apples went from $3.49 a pound to $1.99 a pound. Rotisserie chicken went from $14 to $10.
Oh, my God. We have a Whole Foods up here, don't we?
I don't know if it's actually a Whole Foods, but we have the one on 36, but it's the...
Is that the one across the street from the movie theater?
I don't know if it's
and
actually...
by the library?
Yeah, that's the right spot. I don't think it's actually across the street from the movie theater, but you're thinking of the right spot. I don't know if that's actually a Whole Foods, though.
Didn't Solberg's family own that?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
Either way, I want an actual Whole Foods because now that's a lot cheaper than normal, even though, like, let's be real, shipping all that crap up here is probably going to make it $14 again as opposed to the 10. Well, in that specific chicken case, but, I hate the cost of living up here because of the amount of shit we have to ship up here.
Well, and the funny thing is, though, is that, like, it's literally just, for the most part, an excuse for them to make it more expensive, not because it's actually that much more expensive. Like, if your warehouse is in California, the cost to get it to Alaska is not that much different from getting it to Maine.
Corey, goddammit, this isn't Pornhub. Yeah, no, and it's bullshit that we have to pay more than Maine. I mean, like...
I apparently cannot see all of the comments. I'm confused. I'm just gonna reload the page.
Corey says Facebook, go to Pornhub. It makes me think that he's using his vocal changer, or not the vocal changer, the text or the talk to text. I am so goddamn bad with English today. I have had to cut English at least like 14 times at work.
Yeah, I don't see Corey's comments, by the way.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah, Corey just did 2 comments because he had just joined.
Well, I mean, even if I change to, like, the page itself and not my profile viewing the video, I can't see his comments.
As far as Timothy's question, where are we going to find the money for this overlap? I don't know.
Well,
military?
Let's pause right there, actually. In terms of where are you going to find the money to do any of these subsidizations, we don't have the money for this stuff already. So, like, it's not even a question of how you're going to pay for this. How are you going to pay for anything? Like
our old people Facebook.
I mean, in general, like, from the military to schools to anything at all, we don't really have the money for anymore. So that's a general question, not just for this. Like, I mean, sure, it's an easy thing to throw of like, well, we can't afford that. We don't have the money for it. We don't have the money to, like, exist in terms of our government right now. So... like that has no pertinence on this issue because that is a much larger and separate issue that needs to be addressed in general first before anything else happens. But the thing is that because of the things that already exist that are in place, those things still draw money. So at this point it's all funny fake money anyway. Like,
we're so much in debt, we're playing around with our thoughts essentially.
Yeah. Bunch of just monopoly money. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yep, definitely.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks! Look at me!
Hey, Nathan, what'd you care about in the last 72 hours?
There's a bunch of cool shit that happened this weekend.
I'm listening.
Okay, so unfortunately, there was no episode of My Hero Academia, which was really unfortunate.
Okay.
On Friday, there was a new episode of Made in Abyss, which was really goddamn cool.
Yeah.
Corey just said your crooked picture is driving him fucking nuts.
Good.
Or nucking futs, rather. And yeah, no, that's exactly the point. So aside from those two things and the new issue of My Hero Academia instead of the episode, there was also the new episode of Rick and Morty, which I almost pissed myself laughing at because it was just so fucking hilarious. Yeah, I know that it's good that the picture is up like that because there was a YouTube comment that saying that my picture was crooked, and so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna super crooked."
And it's staying that way until we hit $200 a month on Patreon. Then Nathan will fix it.
Yep. And then not only did we have that, but we had a bomb ass season finale for Game of Thrones.
That's what I heard.
It was super long, but really, really good. And then on top of that, we had the the fucking Mayweather McGregor fight, and that was also really fucking good.
It was good.
I watched that. The ending was like, meh, but I mean, he wasn't bitching about it, so I was like, awesome, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's two things on the fight. If we want to talk about it real quick, I don't want to talk about Game of Thrones because spoiler. But with the fight, I mean, it turned out at a good bit of how people expected. One, because McGregor wasn't a boxer, and two, like McGregor himself has said he has problems with endurance. Like he can't go tons and tons of rounds.
He fucking I'm pretty sure he gassed in like the third round, but he still managed to go until like round 10 of 12. So
yep,
I mean,
was 10. I mean, and even
it was fucking impressive.
Even in round 10, he was doing pretty darn well until Mayweather got a really good friggin' hook in on him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, all he had to do is like not gas himself so much.
Yeah, and
Mayweather was fucking turtled the entire time. McGregor was.
Well, Mayweather
felt like he wasn't defensive enough.
Well, Mayweather is a defensive fighter.
Mm-hmm. It was really weird watching him turtle up and then being aggressive while a turtle. It was really weird.
I think it's because he didn't like how much people criticized him for the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I mean, because like people just throttled him for, running away, not ever actually getting in there, going on the offensive, and then, the final decision, it was, by decision, he won.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, like that's a thing. Like you're going to try and waste away your opponent's endurance, and if they are more tired than you by the end of it, you fucking won.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think McGregor could have there was one specific hit that he took to the head that after that he couldn't get his bearings back up. Like even though he didn't lose immediately after that hit rattled him good enough that he couldn't get back into it.
Yeah, he was already too tired.
So
that from like round 7 onwards, I was like, all right, I'm just waiting for that punch that knocks him out, and it went to fucking 10, and I was like, all right, I'm fucking impressed.
Yeah, no, he did a good job, McGregor did, but it did not surprise me that Mayweather won.
And I'm very happy with how he took the loss too. Like immediately he was like, all right, I'm done. I'm no longer boxing. And then, well, at least in the ring. And then he went up to Mayweather and they seemed very happy and cheery. I'm like, well, that's great, because McGregor, you're kind of a dickhead most of the time.
Well, and Mayweather is too, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was essentially a frauding match, dickhead v. dickhead.
Well, and I mean, on top of that, though, I mean, even in loss, he made $100 million.
Yeah, right? I fucking wish I can get my ass beat for fucking 10 minutes and then get $100 million.
That makes me think of those stupid posts on Facebook that's like, would you shoot your best friend in the leg for $5 million? And I'm just like...
I'd shoot them in the fucking chest.
I'd be like, Nathan, come here. And you'd be like, you better do both. Like...
We get both legs. We're getting money, dude.
Can we do 5 million for each?
And then after you shoot me, I can get disability.
Well, I mean, if you're disabled,
and I never have to work again.
But like, seriously, like every single time I see one of those, and I'm like, okay, I got a few people I could pick on this one, and every single one of them would be like, I'm taking at least half, if not a bit more, since I'm the one getting hurt. But yeah, break my arm, and it's like, like.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely take half. I wouldn't go any lower than half, though.
Oh, I meant they'd be like 50%, maybe 70. You know, I'll take 3 million, you take 2.
I want to meet someone who's like, yeah, dude, I'll take 30% of that. Shoot me in the leg.
That's even worse. You better get at least half if you're the one getting shot. But seriously, like every time I see one of those, or the ones that are like a picture of a house in the middle of nowhere, and it's like, could you live here for 6 months without internet for $3 million? And I'm like, I would do a lot of things for $3 million. Like,
Jenny was like, apparently McGregor took the I would fight Mayweather for 10 rounds for 100 million.
Yeah, I would too.
McGregor, on the other hand, is a cross between Krieger from Archer and McGregor.
I would run away from him for 10 rounds.
Giant bitch.
Yeah.
Go straight at him, Get hit in the face once or twice.
Well, it depends on the rules. Like, do I actually have to make it 10 rounds? Because,
No. You do have to make it 10 rounds, so they have to purposely throw punches sometimes.
Okay. All right.
Competitive tag.
The thing that I cared about in the last 24 hours is, so it is related to Overwatch, but it's not. I just wanted to share this with everyone because it's amazing. So there are some people in life and in video games that are just assholes.
Dickheads.
Yeah, dickheads.
Complete
assholes.
100% dickheads. Literally everyone who plays League of Legends.
Hey, fuck you.
See?
Like, seriously. Either way, so somebody got banned from Overwatch. They're not allowed to play the game anymore. And they posted into the forums like, I got banned for disruptive gameplay in quick play. What? So much for reports being verified. You aren't even safe in quick play, which is like a free play mode. The system is clearly automated and abusable. How do you even be disruptive in quick play? And the dude who is the director for the entire game,
the guy who designs it and everything.
Yeah. Responded with, so we checked the IP address of the account you posted from and found a suspended account. That account has a total of 2,247 complaints filed against it. It is one of the worst offending accounts we've seen. It has been silenced for a total of 9,216 hours. There are 3 gameplay suspensions on the account as well as 7 silences for abusive chat and spam. There's also a manual GM account suspension for massive griefing. I'm not sure if that's the account you're referencing to or not, but someone from your IP has been less than ideal been a less than ideal citizen. If that's not your account, please let us know what the battle tag is, and I'm happy to look into it further. The last thing we want is good, upstanding members of the community being punished unfairly.
So someone in the chat was like, or not the chat, in the responses to this on the Reddit was like, I'm just going to quote BT160506 from later in that thread. Quote, the math on this is legitimately incredible. As of today, Overwatch has been out for 461 days. The original poster has received 2,247 complaints in that time. That's an average of 4.87 complaints by other players per day, every day, for over a year. He's also been silenced for 9,216 hours, which is 384 days or 57,600 games, because the average game length is supposedly 16 minutes. Remember, the original poster said his main account was banned, and his profile shows his current account plays in the U.S., the EU, and KR, wherever that is. That's some global toxicity. His life has to be really sad for him to grief other people this much for this long. It's a wonder his IP hasn't been banned permanently.
It's impressive.
This is probably one of the most toxic individuals I've ever had the chances to lay eyes upon his stats. and it reminds me of last night's Rick and Morty episode like a motherfucker.
And with that, we're done. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Please, if you enjoy the show, if you get value out of it, consider showing us some value back. Patreon.com/dailyinternet. In addition, remember, we do go live on Facebook Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Alaska time. That's 7 p.m. on the West Coast and 10 p.m. on the East Coast. Possibly catch us after work. Otherwise, follow and share us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. All of those are at iReaditCast. I am at Schwan Michael on social media. Nathan is at Bimmenstein. If you want to help the show otherwise, like I said, you can share us on social media or leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play. Those reviews help us get discovered by other people when they search through the podcast directory. Otherwise, if you got a story you would like us to talk about, or you just got something to say, send it to our email inbox, which is feedback.ireddit@gmail.com, or call and leave us a voicemail at 508-738-2278. That is your 340th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I'm Nathan Wood.
And please remember, everybody,
Don't get eliminated!
have a good day, everyone.
Goodbye.